Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We had previously brought to your attention the fact that the Idaho State Police, heavily involved in the investigation into the crimes at 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2022, has recently released hundreds of pages of documentation from their investigatory files never before seen by the public, as well as hundreds of photographs also never before seen by the public. They are available for you to review on a website maintained by the ISP, and these are eye-opening in many, many ways. As you are aware, the court case has largely been under seal in Idaho versus Kohberger, and it still is. So this gives the public some insight as to what happened behind the scenes in the investigation of the crimes and the prosecution of Mr. Kohberger. I'd like to bring to your attention a particular report, because as we notified you previously that of the photographs taken by the Idaho State Police, approximately 25 of them were of Mr. Kohberger's car, his 2015 White Hyundai Elantra, which law enforcement and also the state of Idaho has asserted they believe is the notorious suspect vehicle 1, which was believed to have been connected to the crimes at 1122 King Road, and which the public first learned about when the affidavit of probable cause signed by Detective Brett Payne asking for Mr. Kohberger's arrest warrant was released to the public, as it was in the early part of January 2023. This report will provide you with insight as to who processed that White Elantra after it was seized during Mr. Kohberger's arrest on the 30th of December 2022. The document is entitled Elantra Processing, Idaho State Police. This is a report, as you see here, prepared by Jeffrey S. Talbott. This should be a name that is becoming familiar to you because, as it states here, he is the lead detective in charge of the crime scene. It states here under summary narrative, on November 13th, 2022, at about 12:22 p.m., the Moscow Police Department, MPD, requested Idaho State Police, ISP, District 2, D2, investigations to assist with multiple unalivings at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Latah County, Idaho. Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin are named here. On Friday, December 30th, 2022, it says here it should be Brian C. Kohberger, was arrested for the unalivings. ISP Detective Jeffrey R. Talbott, was assigned as the lead crime scene investigator. On March 9th, 2023, I processed Kohberger's 2015 Hyundai Elantra for additional evidence at the MPD evidence garage. All items collected were turned over to MPD. And then in the next two sections, you see information on suspect 1, Brian C. Kohberger, and the property that's listed here as well, belonging to Mr. Kohberger. You see Detective Talbott's name at the bottom. Continuing on to page number 2 of this 2-page report, it states under the narrative, paragraph 1, on March 9th, 2023, MPD Sergeant Dustin Blaker, MPD Corporal Brett Payne, and I processed Kohberger's Elantra for additional evidence. The vehicle was secured inside the MPD evidence garage. MPD evidence technician Tim Smallridge was also present. Paragraph 2. I photographed the items, processed and packaged the items. The following was collected. Paragraph 2A, Exhibit 1, turn signal and wiper activator from the steering column. Paragraph 2B, Exhibit 2, gear shift and boot from the center console. Paragraph 3, the items collected were turned over to E.T. Smallridge. And paragraph 4, I entered the scene photographs into evidence located at the ISP District 2 office and provided copies to the MPD. And that takes us to the conclusion of this report. Now, a couple of items that I'd like to point out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1, the exhibits that are referenced here in paragraph 2 are not produced here along with the report. This is actual physical evidence, photographs of them. And then we also see here that while Detective Talbott appeared to have led the processing of the Elantra, that Sergeant Blaker, now Captain Blaker, and Corporal Brett Payne of the Moscow Police Department were present and actually processed, helped in the processing. It says so here. On March 9th, 2023, MPD Sergeant Dustin Blaker, MPD Corporal Brett Payne, and I processed. It doesn't say that Detective Talbott processed and Blaker and Payne were just there to watch. They appear to have been actively involved in the processing of Mr. Kohberger's Elantra. If you have any questions, any comments, anything to add relative to this important processing of this vehicle. Again, this was presumed to be the notorious suspect vehicle 1 that was allegedly, as the state of Idaho and the law enforcement officials alleged, including was captured on the 1112 King Road camera. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us today.